He was a picture of entitlement. Brett Kavanaugh, 53, was red-faced, petulant, and shouted most of his answers. Clearly, he thought the proceedings were beneath him. A travesty. It was September 2018, and Kavanaugh was being questioned by the Senate Judiciary Committee regarding allegations that he had sexually assaulted Dr. Christine Blasey Ford, 51, when they were both in high school. At stake was not only Kavanaugh's appointment to the U.S. Supreme Court. This was, more importantly, a tribunal on sexual assault, male privilege, and the workings of misogyny. America did not pass the test. Despite highly credible evidence that Kavanaugh had indeed sexually assaulted a 15-year-old Ford some 36 years prior, Kavanaugh's nomination to the Supreme Court was confirmed by a slim majority. Ford testified that she had been attacked by Kavanaugh, who, together with his friend Mark Judge, had corralled her into a bedroom at a party in Maryland. Ford alleged that Kavanaugh had pinned her to the bed, groped her, and ground his crotch against her. She said he tried to remove her clothes and covered her mouth to prevent her from screaming. Ford said she was afraid that Kavanaugh would accidentally smother and kill her. She said that she managed to escape when Judge jumped on the bed, knocking the two of them over. Indelible in the hippocampus is the laughter, said Ford, a professor of psychology, in describing the incident and its traumatic aftermath. But even for many of those who professed to believe her, Ford's experience just did not matter enough to be worth depriving a man like Kavanaugh of his perceived due, given his background and reputation. And, of course, there were also people who refused to believe her, saying she was either lying or mistaken. By the time the Kavanaugh hearings were front-page news, I had been thinking for quite some time about male privilege and the toll it takes on girls and women. The case seemed to encapsulate many of the social dynamics I'd been studying. It perfectly captured the concept of entitlement, the widespread perception that a privileged man is owed something, even as exalted as a position on the U.S. Supreme Court. This is a perception that Kavanaugh himself shared, judging by his aggrieved, belligerent, and, at times, borderline unhinged conduct during the hearings. In contrast with Dr. Ford's calm, tempered demeanor and her poignant attempts to be helpful to the senators in responding to their queries, Kavanaugh was furious about being questioned, especially, it might appear, when the questioner was a woman. Senator Amy Klobuchar asked him, in a now notorious exchange, "You're saying there's never been a case when you drank so much that you didn't remember what happened the night before, or part of what happened? You're asking about a blackout. I don't know, have you?" Kavanaugh replied, in a tone both contemptuous and whiny. The case also highlighted the phenomenon of himpathy, the way powerful and privileged boys and men who commit acts of sexual violence or engage in other misogynistic behavior often receive sympathy and concern over their female victims. Senator Lindsey Graham, fuming, epitomized such a himpathetic attitude. Graham, to Democrats: "What you want to do is destroy this guy's life, hold this seat open, and hope you win in 2020. To Kavanaugh: You've got nothing to apologize for. When you see Sotomayor and Kagan, tell them that Lindsey said hello, because I voted for them. To Democrats: I would never do to them what you've done to this guy. To Kavanaugh: Are you a gang rapist? Kavanaugh: No. Graham: I cannot imagine what you and your family have gone through. To Democrats: Boy, you all want power. God, I hope you never get it. I hope the American people can see through this sham. You had no intention of protecting Dr. Ford. None. To Kavanaugh: She's as much of a victim as you are. God, I hate to say it, because these have been my friends. But let me tell you, when it comes to this, you're looking for a fair process? You came to the wrong town at the wrong time, my friend. Do you consider this a job interview? Kavanaugh: If the advice and consent role is like a job interview. Graham, do you consider that you've been through a job interview? Kavanaugh, I've been through a process of advice and consent under the Constitution, which... Graham, would you say you've been through hell? Kavanaugh, I've been through hell and then some. Graham, this is not a job interview. Kavanaugh, yes. Graham, this is hell.